Grand whatever, lesbians, party people, and they mamas. We've got 30 minutes on the clock, Ina. Welcome to Poetry on the Patio with Pleiades. Obviously, we're not on the patio, so that is my bad. We are taking this video on, I think, like June 6th, 2026, and this episode is going to be posted on June 15th, 2026. Again, happy Pride Month, guys, and thank you so much for being here and supporting this project. If it wasn't for you guys, I wouldn't be here, and I don't know how many times I have to remind y'all that. I mean, I guess I don't have to remind y'all that, but I want to. Here, the thing is that if I didn't have y'all, I wouldn't be pushed, encouraged to focus and figure out my storage issues, and I have like 124 gigabytes out of 128 being used on my iPhone right now, and I had like 118 when my podcast started, and my system data was around 48 gigabytes, but right now my system data is around 56 gigabytes, which is quite annoying and frustrating to say the least. But even though I'm literally at the like tail end of my gigabytes, when this video is done being recorded, I'll probably be at 127 to 128 out of 128 gigabytes, which is terrible, terrifying also. And obviously, I want to continue posting longer form content, more than 30 minutes. That's what we've been doing for a long time. And it's also important for me to mention that during Pride Month, because it's like support looks like so many different things. Like, honestly, I've had this phone for almost 2 years now. Next month, it will be 2 years completely with this iPhone 14. It's like the lavender, the purple one. And again, I feel like, Americans obviously have been having iPhones and their phones for longer periods of time. I feel like 2 years should be the upper limit because, I mean, yeah, we should be having iPhones and phones for a long time, but the way that the technology works, the companies work, Apple specifically, how they ruin your iPhone, how they cause updates to have problems. Like, I'm on iOS 18 still because iOS 26, I don't even have enough data. I don't have enough gigabytes. I don't have enough storage to update. And that's really embarrassing and annoying. Again, frustrating to say the least. Because it's like I delete so many things. I had like 40 something gigabytes of photos. Now I have 30 gigabytes exactly. And then I also have 30 extra gigabytes that I cleared up on my Google Photos. So I've just been like moving a whole bunch of stuff around. I've bought flash drives. These are things that are your modern day problems. And we all have these problems when we have photos and videos that we care about, right? And then on top of that, you're supposed to have more than one file. Like, imagine you have a file in America and then a file in Switzerland because your files may get corrupted, or on top of corruption, they may have heat problems, they may have cold problems, depending on where everything is. Then you have to update and check, are your backup files in a good location? Are they actually doing well? Are they corrupted now? Because eventually, I guess, with all things, they go bad, and you care about them and you want other people to care about them, these videos, these photos, like, especially after I pass, I would hope that people go back and engage with those photos, those videos, care about me, remember me, I hope people look at my podcast after I die and they're like, wow, this person did something with their life. Anyway, that's our preface that we want to start with today. The episode is titled Community, and this is actually episode 54, which is insane. Episode 52 was a scheduled post. This will also be a scheduled post. If you guys see that, I'm kind of a little more relaxed on posting schedules. Like, I've been taking the videos in a healthy period of time, in a good period of time, and then they take some time and then they post. So I do feel like I've been a little bit more relaxed with the video taking schedule, and I also feel like I've been more relaxed on the video posting schedule. I think that also contributes to my video recording schedule for my interviews especially, which makes me a better guest, or helps me have better guests. It gives the guests some time to have some patience and energy. It also makes it where I'm a better host. If you guys can tell, I'm a little short of breath. I feel a little embarrassed about that. I have had smoking issues and asthma issues, if you guys know, and I've smoked like twice a day for the last couple of days, and I want to keep that energy. Also, the podcast helps me remain sober for at least 30 more minutes of my life, or however long I take this video post, and that's good because, again, this is like a reflection moment. It's almost like a journal, and you guys are here with me reflecting on my personal journal and seeing how my health is, seeing how my mind is and my mindset is at the time of you guys viewing this. Anyway, this episode is called The Community because I wanted to talk about what does the gay community incorporate and why do we need the gay community. So first off, well, not just why do we need the gay community, but why do we need support? Why do we need to remember and have history included with the gay community? Why do we need to talk about this? Why do we need to be supported? And why do we need visuals and people who look like us? Like me and my partner have been watching the 4 seasons on Netflix. The 2nd season just came out. It's written by Tina Fey and Steve Carell was in the 1st season. I won't give you guys spoilers, but if you guys want to watch, I think it's okay. It's not the best show, but they do have 2 gay individuals. The characters Claude and Danny are 2 gay men in a relationship, and I do appreciate their relationship because I have seen Danny in other shows and I want to see Claude. I don't know their characters' names in real life, but I want to see them in more opportunities. I want to see them in more things. And also, I don't think they're always gay in every show. I do wish gay people portrayed gay people more often. I do think that there's like David and Eugene. I forget their names, but they wrote Schitt's Creek, and there's also like Bad Choices, I think is the show name or something like that. That is also, you know, they've got gay characters, that guy David, Eugene's son. Again, these 2 are writers of Schitt's Creek. So if you guys are familiar with that person, he is a gay man, David. Again, for some reason I'm flaking, I'm losing their last names. They're amazing writers. You know, we have a lot of people in the queer community that are becoming famous, and trans people like Elliot Page, you know, we have on TV, we have as actors, and it's gorgeous. It's beautiful what we're able to do for the community. The first thing I want to talk about, and I think that's maybe why I took 7 minutes to preface today, is because I'm going to talk about gold star lesbians to start off. Like, I don't know if we even have that gold star standard for gay men, and obviously we don't have a gay standard, a gold star standard for bisexuals or pangendered people or like trans people who date straight people, you know, like trans people that are straight. Like, we don't have a gold star standard for them. Oh, like, oh, while you were figuring out being trans and being straight, you also had lesbian and gay experiences. Like, oh, like you were bisexual earlier in your lifetime and now you're not, and now you consider yourself lesbian. Also, like, I feel like there's so many different contributions to the word lesbian. Like, to be honest, some people are in straight relationships, quote unquote, what they look like straight relationships, and their partners end up being trans. And then you also have people who know their partners are trans, but they don't want to out them, or they know that their partner has some sort of gender conversation going on. You know, like, gender is fluid, sexuality is fluid, love is fluid, life is fluid. We all know this, but I know that like most people don't talk about the gold star lesbian standard unless it's online. And yeah, I mean, we're online right now. This is my podcast, and it's something that I want to bring up because, yes, I'm dating someone who may be on the surface a cis man. But again, that's the surface. Why are we like judging people based off what we don't even know them about? Like, you have to ask a person, who are you? What are your pronouns? You know, and then even when you know someone's pronouns, you don't even know their gender. You can ask them if you get to know them better. I don't think it's always appropriate to ask that question. Oftentimes, I think it's actually quite inappropriate, and that's on another part of the conversation of the community. Because there's some people who will be open to that conversation, that question very easily, and there's some people who won't. And I might just subjectively share my opinion because this is my podcast, but the fact that most people probably would not be okay with those questions. Sometimes it's rude. Oftentimes it's like people who are about to find out that they're trans asking these questions, and yeah, you can do your research on your own. We're not Google. Like, Google has these answers, and sometimes people are asking terrible questions like, is being trans a mental illness? Isn't being trans a mental illness? Like, that's terrible. Get that energy away from me. Actually, being trans is the most like liberating feeling of my life. I feel free, I feel grateful, I feel happy. These days mean more than the rest of my life ever did, and I'm sorry to say that because I'm also still depressed. Most trans people are still depressed because of the way that the society works, unfortunately, but we do our best to thrive. We're not surviving here. We are survivors of some terrible things. We're not victims, but we're thriving. We do our best to keep each other alive and keep each other awake and keep each other engaged and educated. And for that reason, I don't care about gold star lesbians. And that may be taking away a lot of people's energy where they're like, well, I have been, with women only, and like that makes me different than when I date a girl who is also a lesbian who has dated men. Yeah, you can have your preferences. Preferences are different, and people also talk about like genital preferences and stuff like that. And that is a huge conversation that I don't want to get into right now, but I will get into it a little bit because I want you guys to know my opinions. And that's genital preference is disturbing and disgusting. Don't have a preference. Like, just live and exist. We're all human beings. But again, preferences are preferences. So I guess to each their own. Just don't be rude about it. Don't tell others about it to offend them or in an offensive way. And I hope you guys would know what offensive energy looks like, but sometimes people don't know that. So we don't want any homophobia or transphobia here. And I wrote in parentheses, we may have jokes, and I don't like to put those jokes in Pride Month, especially. Like, to give Pride Month these 30 minutes of my week and to be able to post this for the public is a gorgeous thing. I think people in my close circles know that sometimes I joke about being an ex-homosexual and that I'm homophobic. I make those jokes. I also make like, oh, no homo, no gay or whatever, whatever stupid jokes. Sometimes people will also hear me using gay slurs or community slurs. And again, we have Black people use the N-word oftentimes because they are reclaiming the term. And I feel that same reclaiming energy with certain terms that are derogatory, and my friends and I use them with each other colloquially, and with those friends it's not just natural, it feels good, it feels like reclaiming energy. And again, maybe Black people, maybe one Black person, I don't know, maybe certain people will feel that is not the case, and that's not good, accurate, it's not beneficial. And again, I'm open to those conversations. I'm always open to be educated and to sit down with someone and hear where I may not be the best version of myself. So again, if you guys have been listening to my podcast and you have feelings, especially about this, I mean, especially about everything, but like, this is like specifically what I'm like, maybe I'm wrong, but maybe I'm wrong about a lot of things, and you guys can always sit with me on that. But yeah, we don't want homophobia and transphobia here. We need, especially allies, to not have those jokes. And also, when we're meeting other community members, we're typically not using slurs right off the bat, I mean, if we have some sort of openness and energy with another individual, maybe we will jump into a fast friendship. But those fast friendships typically feel the same as, like, let's say a straight person's fast friendship or cis people's fast friendships. Those trans people have a connection, maybe a soul tie from different lives, from past lives and experiences. You may not know that you have crossed this person's path, and just their scent and their energy in the same universe as you drew you guys closer together, gravitationally pulled you guys. I don't know, but regardless, right off the bat, you guys are not making those jokes. And again, if you are, you guys have crossed the threshold that people cross typically with time. So maybe you guys understand the gay community a little bit better, or you guys understand my perspective. And that's what matters. That's why we're doing this podcast here today. We do not want TERFS. TERFS, it's a acronym. It stands for Trans Exclusionary Radical Feminists. We have someone terrible that's famous, that is a very famous TERF. Also, not only is she famous for her books, she's also famous for being a trans exclusionary radical feminist. We have radical feminists all over the world. Some are good, some are bad. The trans exclusionary ones are obviously bad. I don't think in this world there are good or bad things, but in this way, I do subjectively, maybe even objectively, believe these people to be bad, because J.K. Rowling writes the Harry Potter fan or the books, and her fans, in my opinion, are TERF apologizers if they're not TERFs themselves. Because here's the thing, you cannot engage with someone's art, especially if they are hating on a community of people. Like, let's say a white person wrote a book that's just like a fantasy sci-fi book or whatever, magical, right? And then they started hating on Black people. Would you guys support that artist? And if you guys did, is there something wrong with you? It's okay if there's something wrong with you. You guys don't have to be engaging with my podcast. You guys can stay far away from me, and that's okay. If you want to be racist, if you want to be transphobic, if you want to be homophobic, exist, I guess. I don't want you guys to, but that's not up to me to say. For some reason, you guys exist on the same world with me, and for some reason, I don't even know why we are here on this spinning rock. How do we come back every single day? When I sleep, I go somewhere else. sorry, there's a lot of things that we have to talk about. Always. And I'm a passionate person. And I have not been very passionate constantly, continuously. I think we have ebbed and flowed because in the beginning of the project, I guess maybe I was a little bit more passionate because there were so many things that I had to say that I wanted to say. And then I didn't even remember some of the things that I wanted to say when we had gotten a consistent schedule lined up. And now I'm like, oh my God, there's so many things that I need to say. And my creativity and my writer's block never gets blocked, and knock on wood, thank God. I'm so grateful to have an outpouring of energy. On top of no TERFs, we do not want gay men who use their sexuality as a reason to sexually assault. Now, I don't see this all the time, but I do see this sometimes. And yes, I may be focusing on a lot of negatives of the community. There's also there's a huge portion of beautiful things about the gay community. But I'm mentioning these things because I feel like they're things that I have to get off my chest, and they're things that I wanted to talk about publicly for a long time, because if gay men watch my podcast, maybe they will treat me better, and maybe they won't. Maybe there will be people, gay men, lesbians, cis people, trans people. I wrote specifically cis gay men, but again, there's a whole plethora of people in this world, a whole different spectrum. So there may be gay people that are trans, there may be lesbian women that are cis, that are also doing this. And in fact, I have seen lesbian women who have sexually assaulted based off of their sexuality. And I do feel like it's quote unquote quote more rare than it would be for a gay man. And maybe that's, again, just my subjective experience, because when I used to go to high school, I went with a lot of gay men. Like, gay men were people in my high school, they were a demographic, a percentage, maybe 2%, I don't know. Gay people are like 2% of the community or something, like, gingers or something like that, I don't know. Anyway, my percentages may be off, don't quote me on that. Regardless, I want to say that those people that I went to high school with, I considered my friends, and then, sometimes they would like touch me inappropriately, my body parts, my face, when I didn't want that. And yeah, sometimes your face can just be simple assault or harassment, but with everything else that they did, it was more so than that. Obviously, you guys can tell what I'm trying to say. But obviously, that's not a reason, like, no, nothing's a reason to sexually assault anyone. We shouldn't be touching people inappropriately in that way. There's textbook assault, there's textbook harm, there's textbook rape. We should avoid all of those things. We should avoid non-textbook versions of those as well. We should just not get into a gray territory at all. I don't even know why that has to be a part of this conversation when we're talking about the community. The community should be a beautiful thing. But unfortunately, in this world, with all the straits and the terrorism and the capitalism, we have problems and we need to deal with them. So there are many laws stopping us, and we do not need those laws around. I know that we have legalized gay marriage 10 years ago, but here's the thing, 10 years ago is so recent. I feel like 10 years ago was yesterday, and in the course of the grand scheme of things, it is a blink of the eye. We have billions of years to account for, and you're telling me just 10 years ago, when I was in summer school, Barack Obama, in his last final years of presidency, sat down and got the Supreme Court to understand that gay marriage needs to be legalized? I mean, here's the thing, guys. Gay people weren't allowed to get legally married before that. Like, they probably were still getting married, some people were getting in trouble, I'm sure. Oftentimes, I'm sure people were getting in trouble, and oftentimes, I'm sure people are still getting discriminated against, because gay people get discriminated against for a lot of reasons. And again, me and my partner are queer, and historically, you guys probably would not be able to tell that we're queer, because in your opinion, you as a viewer may not think this, but you as the general you, some people in society may think this. People may think that I am a straight woman. I'm a straight cis woman. No, that's not true. It actually hurts me to say that. I am trans, I'm pangender. Maybe you guys won't understand in one video, but maybe you guys will understand over the course of time. My partner is queer. Being in a relationship with a trans individual that's non-binary makes him queer. And yes, he may be using him pronouns right now, but I think he's more non-binary than cis. And we have had those conversations. It's not just me assuming. I've had those conversations with my partner, so I know where he is. And also a majority, if not all of my last partners who may look like cis men, came out as trans women or non-binary. So I have to say what I have to say. You don't have your gold star standard. People are confusing. People are all over the place. And, we also shouldn't have laws stopping us from loving ourselves. It makes it difficult for people who do consider themselves to be cis to come out, and then that would make the gay community feel more comfortable, right? Because people who I mean, again, like 10 years ago, more than 10 years ago, before I came out, I guess, I can tell that I was a gay child. You can see the pictures of myself and then you can be like, damn, that child's gay. I can tell. And that child was always meant to be gay. That's fine. I looked gay. I'll tell you that. And like, some people will be like, no, you're just a child. And like, I mean, sure, that's fine. But energies don't lie, that's my thing. And my energy was always pointing towards gay. And I knew, at 12, I was like, I look gay, I am gay, everyone tells me I'm gay. That probably means I'm gay, And not everyone has to tell you that you're gay for you to be gay, but my point still stands that I was. And people can tell me that I was not gay before that, like family, I guess, or certain friends who saw me grow up. But I think they're just being harsh on the reality, or they're like not being honest with themselves, which again is fine. Just take that energy away from me. Like, I'm going to be honest with myself about what's happening in my reality with my love. And yeah, maybe in hindsight, it makes more sense to me. And maybe in the moment, it didn't make sense to me. But that doesn't mean that in the grand scheme of things, I didn't like realize what was happening to me. It just took some time for it to settle in your body. Because again, even in these moments while we're working on the podcast, when we're working on our day-to-day realities, we don't even know what this energy is going to mean in, again, 10 years. Like in 10 years, I'm still feeling like, hey, that law should have been always the case. Like, what do you mean people are allowed to get married, but gay people weren't? Like, love is love. We know that. I'm allowed to say these things on my podcast especially, but I'm allowed to fight for gay people. I'm allowed to fight for trans people. I'm allowed to fight for my community. And that's ultimately what's happening today. I'm fighting because it's Pride Month. FIFA World Cup is here, and we're having our Pride Parade earlier because of this. And that does harm me a little bit. I didn't even know until yesterday that Pride is today. Oh my god, it's already happening. Like, I'm probably late. I think it's like 11. I'm not even gonna make it because I didn't plan to make it. That's okay. But again, that's sad, right? It's like, why do we have to change things up? Why can't gay people have something? It doesn't feel like gay people are allowed to have everything, but anything, I mean. Gay people are allowed to have something. It's not that, I mean, no one's allowed to have everything, right? Anyway, so there's a lot of laws stopping us. It's not just the marriage laws that were put into place 10 years ago. I want to say that like years before that, when I was just 12 years old, unfortunately, I was raped by a trans man. And that was like in my childhood, and he was also a child. And unfortunately, my family and the school system did not do me well. And he is still out and free and has assaulted / raped / attempted to murder more than 30 people. And I have had to deal with a good portion of that because a majority of them were in our junior high, were in our high school, and unfortunately were in our university because for some reason he went to the same university as me, which is fucked up. But here's the thing. Even though I got my junior high, my high school, and my college to try to do something about it, we even had 16 girls come together to try to do something about it in a judicial court of law. Unfortunately, we have laws in place in Texas. And, I'm not just saying this is Texas's problem. Texas has a lot of problems. I will admit that. We need to fight them as Texans ourselves. But, like, there's a lot of states that have got transphobic laws that I'm sure are in place, that have been in place for decades, if not centuries, that people don't know about, that are affecting trans lives right now. And we are not able to talk about them because they're such weird laws. Because this law basically says that trans people are not allowed to rape. They're not able to rape. It's not like, it's just legally seen that, like, if a trans person is like a rapist, then that just is a moot point. And we don't even have to bring that issue to the courts. Because here's the thing. They want to seem not transphobic by this law. They want to seem that they're helping trans people. Oh, a trans person's a rapist? Then like, oh, well, they're not. But of course, that does not actually help trans people. In fact, it probably helps no one because people who get raped by trans people will not be able to get the help that they need in Texas. And I don't know if this law is still in place, but it was very difficult for me to find. And in fact, I had also felt almost as if my rapist became trans because he didn't want to get in trouble. That's a very harrowing point. It's very terrifying. That's the bane of society. So, you know what? I spoke a lot about things that are terrible. I know I shouldn't. I should spend a lot more time on beautiful things and focus on the good things. That's not what today is about. I think we have good things oftentimes, and we also have bad things sometimes. We have a good balance, I feel like, on this podcast, but it's not like we're aiming for balance. We're not aiming for perfection. We're aiming for progress. We're aiming for education. We're aiming for intelligence. We're aiming for a heart-to-heart conversation. the people who have stayed with me on this project for so long, like, I appreciate you guys more than you guys can imagine. Like, we stay here every single week talking about things that are beautiful, that are changing in our lives, things that connect, like partners, travel, history, music, education, art, obviously the interviews, but we also talk about things like politics and the strain that we have with wars and the way that education has been affecting children's lives. We talk about a plethora of things, a multitude of things over here. And so, yeah, in the last 5 minutes, I'm going to say yes to the dolls. Yes to mutual aid. Yes to collectives and art. Yes to culture. Yes to class uprisings. All of this is included in the gay conversation, in the gay community, because without mutual aid, we would not be able to help each other. Mutual aid helps individuals gain housing, helps individuals get food, helps individuals get top surgery and gender-affirming care, such as testosterone and estrogen. We also have collectives who also give housing to people, gives studios to people. People can make art, specifically trans and gay people can make art together. And to make art in these collective spaces, like, you're probably not just making art, you're probably making food as well. And you're helping each other get food, water, a bathroom, a shower, your own house. You're getting them resources, networking. There's a plethora of things, again, that you get from collectives and art and from mutual aid. And yes to culture, as in, we need more people that are trans in everything, that are gay in everything. Like I'm saying, like, we don't need more straight people portraying gay people. We need more gay people as actors and actresses. We need more non-binary people as musicians. We need more people that are making art, that are known, famous, that are gay and trans. Yes to class uprisings. I don't feel like I talk about this enough, but, like, when is the revolution gonna start, y'all? Like, this is pride that we're talking about. We have pride, we have marches, we have a bunch of different events. Maybe I should go to pride right now and try to start the uprising, because these gas prices, these food prices, these housing prices, yo, I'm itching, y'all. I'm anxious. I can't even get out of this house. I can't even get out of this space. Y'all want to see a patio so bad. I want to see a patio so bad. I mean, y'all probably aren't, like, complaining. I'm still posting these every single Monday, but class uprisings now. And I want to go back and focus on say yes to the dolls. We need to support trans women more than ever, and we always needed to support trans women. We always need to support trans women. It's not like just the past, it's like always the future. It's like every single moment. Trans women are unfortunately the most marginalized community. They have the most disparities, and whose fault is that? That's society's fault. Y'all, I'm so sweaty. I have been tapering from the good kush, and I've been struggling. I think y'all know I've been struggling. We've been talking about this for damn near a year. I had 5 months of sobriety from 2024 to 2025, and it's going to be 2026 before I know it. Will I be sober before then? Will I have a month of sobriety? Who knows? All I know is that I love you guys so much. I love the community. I love being gay. I am non-binary. I am trans. I am what I consider a lesbian. But if you guys don't like that because you guys have your gold star standards, then I am queer, and I've always been queer, and you guys can never take that away from me. And I hope you guys feel proud to be yourselves. Thank you guys for staying with me on these 30 minutes. I did not even know that we could get to 30 minutes with the amounts of data that I had. The fact that we filled in the gaps with all the information that I had to speak on is gorgeous. Next week, we will be talking about rainbows. And before I head off, you guys know what I'm going to say. Thank you guys so much, as always, for being a part of my community. Please hit that like button. Share this with someone that you know, just one friend, please. I'm actually begging you. Anyway, write a comment. Tell me what you guys think about my project. Subscribe to my channel if you guys haven't already. If you're new here, thank you and welcome, and I hope you guys stay here for a long time. I hope you guys enjoy what I'm talking about and how I talk, I guess. And take care of yourselves, eat good food, take care of your health, think about what that means, educate yourself, educate your friends, start a project, start a podcast, make some art, hug yourself, hug your friends, tell your friends that you love them, tell yourself that you love them, a journal, brush your teeth, drink water, and ultimately, have an amazing rest of your day and rest of your life if I can't see you guys again. And I love you. Until next time, bye!